agriculture and the water and the problems. And it gets annoying to see things that should be talked about more than just everybody's gut hatred.
Hi, this is Sean with Anira. I'm here in Gaza at the Patients Friends Society Hospital in the middle of Gaza City, and I'm here looking at the brand new reverse osmosis water filtration system. Here you can see the panel here showing the status. You can put it in English if you'd like. And this project was brought to you by Humanity First UK. It's a $23,000 project for the whole system, including a solar panel system to run the energy. This serves 8,000 patients a day with 20 cubic a month, 8,000 patients a month with 20 cubic meters of purified water, better than what the hospital was paying for each month before Humanity First UK and Anira installed this system. They were paying about $2,000 a month for water, and this water is purified enough to be used in the laboratories that necessitate having distilled water. So thank you very much, Humanity First UK, for this support. I can tell you everyone here at the hospital is very grateful. Thank you.
They don't have enough water treatment plants for the for all those people. And especially think about this. Where are they going when they are forced to leave their homes? Where are they going? Anybody think about where people are going to the bathroom? I mean, think about what the Mediterranean must really right now be like, environmentally speaking. Now, collaborating across borders, young professionals in the Middle East tackle the region's water issues. So there's been a lot of work between people. There have been Israeli, Jordanian, Palestinian participants. There have been people that have wanted to do all of this for that area and work across geopolitical tensions. I mean, it does happen, and especially in academia. Israel's systematic targeting of Gaza's energy, sewage, and water infrastructure, which is integral to any food system, and its refusal to allow access to equipment for repair or replacement has accelerated what the UN describes as Gaza development. Airstrikes on Gaza only power plant and largest sewage treatment plant in 2008 resulted in the release of 100,000 cubic meters of sewage into the neighboring homes and farmland. In 2018, Israeli destruction of sanitation infrastructure resulted in further environmental breakdown, leaving raw, solid, and liquid wastes being discharged into the Mediterranean, threatening fish stocks that Gazan fishers and consumers depend on. Internationally funded sewage treatment plants may for now have reduced sewage flows, but there remains the persistent threat of limited capacity, faltering energy supplies, and future attacks. Shrinking territory. Israel disengaged from Gaza in 2005, purportedly to return land previously under Israeli settlements and militarized zones, yet occupation was effectively increased in the form of access restricted areas. So over a third of Gaza's farmland is in these no-go zones along the northern and eastern borders that once formed the territory's fruit and bread baskets. The exact range of the zone is undeclared, but is understood to vary between 300 and 1,000 meters. Those who stray too close to the area risk being shot and their equipment confiscated or destroyed. Along the 60-kilometer land border, Israel deploys border posts, some manned by remote control machine guns, ground sensors, and drones. Similarly, access to Mediterranean waters is restricted to between 6 and 15 nautical miles from the coast, depriving Gaza's artisanal fishers of full access to the most productive fishing grounds. Already in 2022, now it's not updated, there have been 644 incidents of shootings to prevent access to land or sea, destruction of farmland. Despite the now normalized blockade and regular airstrikes, land invasions still pose the most significant threat. Between 2000 and 2008, it estimated that 112,000 olive trees were uprooted during Israeli incursions. After Operation Cast Lead 2008-9, the UN documented destruction of soils, vegetable crops, orchard, livestock, wells, hatcheries, beehives, greenhouses, irrigation networks, barns, and stables. Replacement of young fruit trees are ill-adapted to saline conditions, so no, they cannot survive. So after Operation Protective Edge in 2014, the UN was denied access, but reported that the destruction of critical infrastructure had become a recurring reality. Look at that. Destroyed. It's disgusting. Biannual herbicide spraying by Israel, allegedly for security purposes, damages hundreds of acres of crops, and regular incursions with bulldozers destroy many more acres of farmland. Compensation for the destruction of farmland and infrastructure by the Israeli state is supposed to be met by the UN through contributions from member states. To date, no compensation has been made to Palestinian farmers. Ultimately, the international community, in supporting food security while quietly covering the cost of damage, remains complicit in its silence. Israel's violence against Palestinian food and farming systems renders dignified, healthy food impossible. Gaza, before much longer, may indeed become uninhabitable.
This is not ice melting into a mountain river. This is what happens when thousands of cubic meters of sewage are discharged into a river in the Gaza Strip. Thousands of liters of untreated wastewater pour into the Wadi Gaza River every day. The polluted water snakes through urban areas towards the sea. It jeopardizes the health of many families living beside it, contaminates the coast, and endangers biodiversity. The population in the Gaza Strip also suffers from a serious lack of sanitation. In many of Gaza's poorer neighborhoods, homes are not connected to sewers at all.
Israel, almost half of whose territory is occupied by deserts. The issue of water extraction has also been acute at all times. For a long time, the main source of fresh water was Lake Kinneret. In 1952, the new state began to build a national water supply system, a network of pipelines, canals, and reservoirs for the supply of water from natural reservoirs and Lake Kinneret in particular. Simultaneously, the construction of hundreds of wells for the extraction of water from underground aquifers was launched in the country. However, despite significant successes in the fight for fresh water, it was still not enough to meet the agricultural needs of the state. Amid a rapidly expanding population and booming industry, Israel is faced with a new challenge. Over the years, the country's average rainfall has decreased, and water resources have been depleted. Faced with new challenges, the Israeli government decided to turn its attention to the Mediterranean Sea as a new main source of water for agriculture. Nowadays, 50% of Israel's total water consumption is desalinated seawater. However, the country also uses other unique technologies for the sustainable development of agriculture. Israel has made tremendous progress in the so-called recycled water technology. It is about reusing water for irrigation of agricultural land by recycling wastewater. Since the 2000s, the country has invested over $750 million in centralized water treatment. This added 37 billion gallons per year to the country's total water production. Currently, there are 67 large wastewater treatment plants in Israel, 10 of which treat more than 56% of the country's wastewater collection. At the same time, the largest water treatment enterprise is the Shafdan Wastewater Treatment Plant. The plant, named a model by the United Nations, treats 97 million gallons of Tel Aviv's urban wastewater per day. Water from the sewage system undergoes secondary biological and tertiary treatment and is then transported through a pipeline to irrigate 60% of agricultural land in the Negev desert.
نيجي الصبحيات بنشتغل بيطلع على الشحن. نيجي الصبحيات بدري. كل واحد بيكون معاه سكينته. البصل وبيجي كل واحد بيقعد في شورة وبدنا ايش نقص بصل. بننقه من الورق من الوسخ البصل بنقصه نوديه جاهز على السوق. متعب كثير نشتغل تقريبا 10 ساعات 8 ساعات تعب زي هيك طول اليوم احنا بنشتغل. في نفس الوقت يعني خطر وخوف لأننا قريبين على الحدود ممكن يصير طخ بيجي علينا. يعني إلي أخو في 2011 كان يشتغل زي هيك فجأة اليهود صار إطلاق نار على اليهود واليهود ردت وخبط أخوي قديفه وهو العمال ومات طبعا. هو في المنطقة هنا في القريبة تبعد يعني أبو 500 متر عن المنطقة هذه.
Amounts of water and fertilizer. Israeli hydraulic engineer Simha Blas in 1956 proposed a way to deliver moisture and fertilizer literally drop by drop directly to the roots of plants. This technology was born completely by accident. Noticing that one tree was more luxuriant than the others in the backyard, Blas dug up the soil near the tree trunk and found that water was dripping from the damaged pipe and fell directly to the roots. It took Blas and his team years to bring the idea to its logical conclusion. But ultimately, the drip system helped restart agriculture in Israel and 109 other countries around the world, from sugarcane fields in the Philippines to tea plantations in Tanzania. Israeli drip irrigation technology is not only flexible hoses made of stabilized polyethylene with drips that equalize the flow of water along the entire length of the pipeline. The system includes devices for water purification and filtration, fittings for distributing water throughout the field, as well as equipment for dissolving and dosing fertilizers, and of course automatic.
The Gaza Valley, or Wadi Gaza, was once a picturesque nature reserve popular among sightseers and holidaymakers. Now it's a no-go zone for visitors, and residents can barely stand to live there.
We hate it here because of the mosquitoes and the overpowering smell. When night comes and we try to sleep, we can't sleep because of the bad smell. The smell is so strong that it reaches the city of the Buraj near us, and even the residents there complain about it. In the past, people used to come here to take a walk and sit in the valley and say proudly, "We're going to the Gaza Valley," but nobody comes here anymore.
Wadi Gaza is the largest natural wetland in the territory and was declared a natural reserve over 2 decades ago. Since then, its biodiversity and natural resources have deteriorated dramatically. Pollution from landfill, effluent and pesticides threatens public health too and risks poisoning the groundwater. With sewage treatment plants overwhelmed, millions of liters of raw or poorly treated sewage are discharged into the Wadi Gaza wetlands and from there into the sea. Thankfully, not far away, a new treatment plant has been built, financed by a $100 million grant from the German Development Bank. It's vastly improved Gaza's sewage treatment capacity, processing more than 60% of the territory's wastewater.
Once the treatment plant was completed, municipalities through local or international funders started constructing sewage networks and connecting them to the treatment plant. This helps to minimize all environmental risks that affect the aquifer. They will also enable people to live and would assist in urban expansion in different areas.
But power shortages, the blockade and Israeli airstrikes mean the system continually breaks down. Environmentalists say the new facility helps, but it's nowhere near enough.
In Gaza City and the central region, more than 80,000 or 90,000 cubic meters are produced per day. Part of it is treated, and unfortunately, there is another part that doesn't get treated due to the dilapidated capacities of the treatment plants in Gaza. Many of the quantities that reach the treatment plants arrive during the power outages when the plant is not working.
Besieged Gaza is one of the most densely populated places in the world. That makes waste management a particularly important public health issue. But unless Israel lifts the blockade and allows infrastructure to recover, Palestinians will have to live with the stench for the foreseeable future.
hate the leaders, hate the system, don't hate the people. because we're all alike and we're all